I mean, I keep about three or four copies of the canvas just by my desk.
Yeah.
And that way, if ever I'm thinking about something, it's just a good way of scribbling down ideas.
Yeah.
Even if you're not getting into the business model thinking per se, just having those kind of categories to park your thoughts into can be quite useful.
Yeah.
Useful exercise. Yeah, it's come up a bit recently, talking about business model canvas, which is a well-known and quite popular method for coming up with a business model and thinking it through, based off the work of Alexander Osterwalder, who did it as part of his PhD.
I remember there was an interesting story. It's in the foreword or the intro, isn't it? Talking about how he did it. It was, as you say, part of his PhD, but it wasn't just him that wrote it. It was some sort of crowdsourced thing.
I think there was a lot of different people inputted into the writing of the book and how it was published, and it was almost a attempt at business model innovation as part of writing the book. But he goes through it in quite a lot of detail. I definitely think it's a book that's worthwhile buying if you are interested in.
Are you on commission or something?
No, but it's actually a nice book just to have as
it's well done. It's nice.
It's nicely
artwork
published.
and stuff. Is there not a sister companion volume as well to do with
value proposition design,
right?
Which focuses more on the value proposition element of the business model canvas,
which is the middle bit of
the
business model canvas.
The whatever it is, the custard in between the
Are we talking custard creams?
Custard creams, yeah. I wasn't quite sure what.
Not the ham in the sandwich, then.
Not the ham in the sandwich.
No.
But it's not really the custard
donut,
between the creams,
jam in the donut.
It? It's not really the custard between the creams. It's the custard cream in between the biscuit, isn't it?
Anyway. You know, sometimes when you start with a metaphor and you think you're losing control of it, it develops a life of its own, doesn't it?
Running away, which is exactly why you need a system for these things, which is what the business model canvas does.
Oh, nice. I like what you tried to do. I'm not sure that worked either, but I like what you tried
rescued.
to do.
So anyway, it's come up a couple of times recently. We've used it quite extensively in various places that we've worked.
Yeah.
It's quite a clear way.
It's quite tactile as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not something you just have to throw up on the projector screen or on the telly and talk through. You can actually get a big printed version or just do whatever you want. And it's a sticky note thing.
Sticky note thing. I mean, I keep about three or four copies of the canvas just by my desk.
Yeah.
And that way, if ever I'm thinking about something, it's just a good way of scribbling down ideas.
Yeah.
Even if you're not getting into the business model thinking per se, just having those kind of categories to park your thoughts into can be quite useful.
Yeah.
Useful exercise.
Now, one of the things that I've heard said about it is that it's directed more for startups, but we've found it, we don't do with many startups, do we? We tend to work with established companies that are looking to push forward and grow. So we've found it more useful in that area, really, rather than startup. I can see how you would use it in a startup, but we've used it even in M&A activities, haven't we? We've written information memorandums for companies that are looking to sell. No, it's a very good way of sort of summarising the position of a business. And if you're trying to explain it to investors, or if you're trying to explain it, just or wrap your head around it. And I think where we use it, definitely for startups. If you're thinking about what is our business model going to be, but I think oftentimes the business model can maybe get a little bit cloudy in established companies, and actually using something like the business model canvas can really... Well, it drifts anyway, but also it's quite complicated as you adopt new areas of the business, each of which maybe have a slightly different model, and yet they're not necessarily explicitly split out.
Yeah, we could go through some...
Sorry, I was just going to ask about Strategizer, in case we need to name check them. Is that the company that has the license for this thing now? Or you see that quite a lot, don't you?
I don't know if it has a license, but I think that's... Alexander Osterwalder's company.
Oh, it's his company, is it? Right. Okay.
So they do a lot of workshops and things around it, and you can sign up to their website for free and get access to their tools and all that kind of stuff. So
for the video and in the show notes, we ought to put a link and an image of what this canvas looks like, because it's basically a one-page business strategy.
Yeah, and I think the nice thing is you can print it out on an A4 as well.
Yeah.
And it's not such a massive model that it can't fit on an A4, and you can just scribble on it whilst you're having a coffee.
Nice, isn't it? And if you need a quick one-page summary of it, then it's not a bad way of
homework for all listeners.
Describe your company's strategy or your business model.
The business model canvas.
In one page on that.
Put it on a page.